Hello there, everyone. Welcome to English for You, and I'm Mike.
And I'm Angeline. So I'm excited to continue our story from yesterday.
Okay, good.
Right? Marie and Fritz were excited to see what their godfather, Drosselmeyer would give them this Christmas.
Yep.
He was an inventor, right?
That's right. He was an inventor, and he brought along a special gift that he made for the kids. Now, Marie loved the gift, but her brother Fritz didn't so much. He was disappointed. Why? Because the gift was a nutcracker. It looked like a soldier, but you could move its mouth and jaw so it could crack nuts. Well, Fritz didn't like it, and then he played with it until he broke the jaw, so the nutcracker could no longer crack nuts.
Exactly.
Fritz didn't really care because he's a naughty boy, but his sister Marie, well, she was not happy.
She was upset, but her mother did tell her that Godfather Drosselmeyer could fix it. Okay, because he made it, so he can probably fix it.
Good.
So that night, she hugged the nutcracker to sleep. Then she dreamed that the nutcracker came to life,
That's
remember?
right. The nutcracker had a big fight with a rat king or a mouse king.
Seven heads.
With 7 heads, and at one point Marie had to throw her shoe at the evil mouse king to save the nutcracker, and that's around the time that her dream ended. So very strange, very mysterious, but very interesting too. Now that means we have to get into today's article, which is part 2 of the story of the nutcracker.
Reading. The Nutcracker and the Mouse King. The next day, Drosselmeyer is fixing the Nutcracker as Mary tells him about her dream. While the rest of the family thinks she is losing her mind, Drosselmeyer believes her. He tells her a story about another bad mouse. Long ago, a king and queen had many mice in their palace. They set mouse traps to get rid of them. However, so many mice were killed that the mouse queen put a spell on Princess Pirlipat, their beautiful daughter. The spell made Pirlipat terribly ugly. The only cure was a Krakatuk nut, which had to be cracked by a young boy who had never shaved. Besides, he would have to walk backward for 7 steps without stumbling. The king promised that Pirlipat would marry the boy who saved her. The only boy who could do this was the nephew of the royal court inventor, whose name happened to be Drosselmeyer. He did what the cure requested, and it worked. Pirlipat was beautiful again. Unfortunately, Drosselmeyer's nephew caught the spell and became ugly. Princess Pirlipat refused to marry him, and the boy was kicked out of the palace.
So the article begins. It says, the next day, Drosselmeyer is fixing the nutcracker as Marie tells him about her dream. So it was a very strange dream, a very memorable dream. She woke up quite upset. The dream seemed very real. So, of course, like many people, she'd want to tell someone, a friend, a family member, about this very strange dream. So what does Drosselmeyer think?
Okay, well, while the rest of the family thinks she is losing her mind.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Drosselmeyer believes her. Okay, her godfather believes her.
Oh, okay.
So to lose one's mind is our shortcut for you. Let's take a quick break and watch our shortcut for you video to learn more about what this phrase means.
Let's do it.
Shortcut for you.
Thanks for helping me choose what to wear.
No problem. It's important to dress well for a job interview.
How about this? I really love this color. I think it shows off my eyes.
I don't think that's going to work. What about this?
Oh, that's not really my style. I like, this though.
Have you lost your mind? You can't wear that to a job interview.
I haven't lost anything. Did I lose anything?
No. To lose one's mind means to become crazy or confused.
What? I certainly haven't lost my mind, which means 发疯精神错乱. This will be perfect for my interview to become a clown.
I get it now.
Okay, so back in the article, Drosselmeyer is the godfather and inventor of the Nutcracker. He's a very close friend to the family, and young Marie was telling him about her strange dream. Well, most of the family thought Marie's dream was weird and crazy. They might even be a little worried about how,
she's losing her mind.
Going, a little mental. But Drosselmeyer, the godfather, he believes her. He believes the story. He believes that she had this dream, and he believes the things that happened in the dream. And it says he tells her a story about another bad mouse.
Is it an eight-headed mouse?
I don't know. That's a good question. So what's the story about the other mouse?
Okay, so Drosselmeyer begins to tell the story. He says, long ago, a king and queen had many mice in their palace.
Ugh, they should move.
I don't want to live there. Okay,
No.
So we've come to our first vocabulary word for today, palace.
Oh, okay.
A palace is what we call the home of a king or a queen. For example, the king has many servants in his palace.
Oh, okay. Yeah, palaces kind of came after castles. Castles would have the big walls and the soldiers, and you could fight the enemy from your castle. But then things got more peaceful, and now they have palaces. If you've ever been to London to see the home of the Queen of England, right? She lives in Buckingham Palace. There's a fence around it, but no big stone walls or towers or anything like that. But it's a giant, beautiful home that obviously costs a lot of money.
Have you been inside?
No, I haven't.
Are you allowed to go inside?
My
actually?
parents went inside.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. But anyways, so a palace, yes, is a big, big home for royalty like kings and queens. Well, what did this king and queen do with all of the rats and mice inside of their palace? I think they should have bought a cat.
Yeah? Do you think the cat would take care of that?
That's what cats do. They love that stuff. But they did something else that seems like a good idea when you have mice. It says they set mouse traps to get rid of them. Yes, if you have something around you that you don't want, you might want to get rid of it. All right? You might want to send it away, erase it, eliminate it, no longer have it around you. If there's too much garbage, get rid of the garbage. If you have too many clothes, get rid of some of the clothes. Give them away, throw them away, but don't keep them here because it's not something that you want, like mice in your house. Get rid of them. Ugh.
Okay, so our article says, however, so many mice were killed that the Mouse Queen put a spell on Princess Perlipat, their beautiful daughter.
Really? Wow. So the Mouse Queen was upset that all of the mice were getting killed. And this is she's a mouse, she's a queen, and she can use magic.
She can cast spells.
This is not a mouse that I want to find running around my kitchen.
No, I don't either.
Yes, and so they put an evil spell on this young princess. What did the spell do? Well, the article next says, the spell made Perlipat terribly ugly. So they used magic to change her face and take her once beautiful face and make it all kind of ugly. And of course, this would make her father and mother, the king and queen, very, very unhappy. And I imagine Perlipat was unhappy
probably
too.
Unhappy about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's more, our article says the only cure was a Crackatuck nut.
A Crackatuck nut.
Okay.
I like that name.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Crackatuck nut, which had to be cracked by a young boy who had never shaved. Is this weird?
This is weird.
A little bit, right?
This just went into weird. We were kind of okay, but now we've gone to weird.
Okay.
A young boy who had never shaved is the only one who can crack this nut.
And the word shave is a verb.
Yes, it is.
So to shave means to cut off hair very close to the skin. Okay, so you don't use scissors to do this. You have to use a sharp blade called a razor.
Absolutely.
So you would shave your beard.
I didn't shave this morning. No. I shave every 2 or 3 days. I think that's okay. Some people will shave every day. Men, of course, generally shave their faces. Some ladies will shave their legs or under their arms. Or if you're a swimmer, like that swimmer guy whose name I can't remember, Michael Phelps, they often shave their whole bodies.
Really?
Can you imagine how long that takes?
Would they wax it? Shaving would take a long time.
I don't know. Michael Jordan famously shaves his head, right? Just cuts the hair off. But as you said, not with scissors, with a razor, either sort of a normal one with soap or an electric razor. Anyway, so this young boy, he has to be obviously very young, because young men might start shaving around, 15, 16, 17, so he's much younger than that. For example, we could say I couldn't recognize Henry after he shaved off his beard. Yeah, if you have a beard, you don't have to shave so often. Anyways, back in our article, we're trying to get rid of these mice and make the Mouse Queen happy and get rid of the evil spell on the princess. So it says, besides, so apart from having to crack the nut, he would have to walk backward for 7 steps without stumbling.
What?
This is a very strange way of getting rid of an evil spell. So to walk backwards, well, if you're walking, generally you're walking forwards. F-O-R-E-W-A-R-D. Forward is going in the direction you're facing. Backward would be going like that. So you're actually walking where you can't see. If you're walking backwards or moving a car, driving backwards, you have to look over your shoulder or look in a mirror. You have to be very, very careful because it is quite common or quite easy for you to stumble. To stumble is like to trip, to get your foot caught on something and whoa, you can't do it.
I do that all the time.
When you're walking backwards, it's easy to stumble because you can't see what you're doing. For example, for the word backward, we could say, the truck made a loud noise as it moved backward.
Like the beep, beep, beep.
They do that because they're moving backward.
And to let everybody know to get out of the way.
That's right. I mentioned stumble, right?
Yeah.
Stumble is basically fall because your feet get caught on something.
Yeah, and I said that happens to me all the time.
Does it happen to you all the time?
Yeah, I don't know. I trip on my own foot or I trip on whatever gap on the sidewalk.
Sometimes you can catch your foot on something. Don't worry, I'll catch you here, though.
Okay.
All right, back in the article, it says the king promised that Perlipat would marry the boy who saved her. So they need a brave young boy to come forward and save the princess and get rid of the evil curse.
And then she will marry him, and then he'll become prince?
Eventually,
maybe?
yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Our article tells us that the only boy who could do this was the nephew of the royal court inventor, whose name happened to be Drosselmeyer.
Drosselmeyer, that's the name of the godfather of Marie and Fritz.
And remember the phrase happen to be or happen to do or happen to be something means to happen by chance, right?
Yeah.
You didn't plan it.
That's right.
Wait, you mentioned earlier that the nephew in this story has the same name as Marie's godfather.
That's right. Could they even be the same person?
Oh.
Maybe that's why the godfather believes Marie's crazy story. Interesting. Well, back with the king and queen trying to save their daughter, the princess, it says he did what the cure requested. Young Drosselmeyer, the nephew, the young boy who had never shaved and
walked backwards. Was it 7?
7 times. They needed him to save the young princess. Well, he did everything that they said. He did what the cure requested, and it worked. Perlipat was beautiful again. And everyone was happy. When something is requested, we can actually also use request as a noun, a request. But if you request something, you ask for something, all right? If someone tells you, please go to the store and buy me a bottle of milk, and you do it, you do what they requested, all right? You fulfilled their request. So if you're asking someone, especially for a favor, to help you in some kind of way, that would be a request.
Okay, so things weren't so great for Drosselmeyer, though.
No?
Perlipat got her looks back. She became beautiful again.
Okay.
But our story says...
I thought he was going to marry the princess because he saved the day.
But something happened first, okay?
Really?
So our story says, unfortunately, Drosselmeyer's nephew caught the spell And then he became ugly.
He caught the spell like catching a cold?
Yeah, he caught the spell and became ugly.
That's not fair. He was trying to help. He didn't do anything to the evil mouse queen.
So it's like the spell went from Perlipat to the nephew.
So now the young boy is ugly. Well, what's going to happen to him? Nothing good. It says Princess Perlipat refused to marry him. He's too ugly. And the boy was kicked out of the palace.
That is terrible.
They're so mean to that young man.
He did them a favor.
He did them a big favor, and he was supposed to marry the princess, but when she saw how ugly he now was, she refused. When you refuse, you say no, especially when someone asks you to do something or offers you something. Hey, will you go over there and punch my friend? You say, no, I'm not going to do that. Or if they say, here, I'd like to give you something I stole. You'd say, no, I don't want that. You stole that. You should give it back. For example, we could say, many people will refuse to sit next to someone smoking. Man, you want to sit there? No, he's smoking. I don't want to sit there. I refuse. All right, for you, chat question time, isn't it? If I ask you a question, will you refuse?
Maybe. It depends on the question.
It'll be a nice question.
Okay.
Don't refuse. Okay.
Well, let's see after the chat. Let's see after, when we come back from a break. See if that's a good question.
I hope you don't refuse. All right, we'll be back with the chat question.
For you, chat.
All right, so we've been talking a lot about dreams the last 2 days. A lot of the strange things that are happening in this story of the Nutcracker are happening to people actually when they're asleep. And as most of you know, when you're asleep, you can have dreams. These are sort of like images, things happening in your head, kind of like your own personal movies. Sometimes they can be good dreams. Sometimes they can be bad dreams.
Like nightmares.
We have a special name for bad dreams. Those are nightmares. N-I-G-H-T-M-A-R-E. It's one word. A nightmare is a bad dream, and I guess we just say a dream or a good dream if it's not scary. Nightmares would be the scary one. But then there are the other ones, the weird dreams or the strange dreams. That's what our chat question is about. So what is the strangest dream that you have ever had?
Good question. Okay, so I don't know if I dream every night. I think I do.
You do, but you sometimes don't remember.
But I don't remember them most of the time. I did dream once that I forgot about a test.
Oh, I hate that dream.
Yeah, I've had that before.
Yeah.
And I had a dream that this teacher that I didn't really like, she was yelling at me in class one time.
Okay.
And then I woke up crying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was a very realistic...
It felt real.
Interesting.
Okay. But the strangest dream that I want to share with you actually didn't happen with me.
Oh.
It happened with my brother.
Okay.
And he was a lot younger. I think he was probably 4 or 5.
Oh, very young.
And he had a nightmare. Okay, so a very bad dream.
Yeah.
And guess what his nightmare was about?
What?
He dreamt that vegetables, giant vegetables, were chasing after him.
Really? So giant carrots and lettuces and broccolis and things like that?
They were chasing after him.
Chasing him.
And he woke up actually crying from the dream.
Wow. Is it because he didn't eat enough salad?
I think
and your
he
mom's
didn't
always like,
vegetables.
Eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables.
And then they came after him.
They chased him. So now, is he a vegetarian now?
No, he's not.
He's not? No. Wow, very interesting. That is a pretty strange dream.
Right? What about you?
I'd have to say. The strangest dream I've ever had. I don't know. I don't always remember my dreams. I do have that missing a test, or I always have a strange dream about losing my shoes.
One shoe or
both of my shoes? It's like I was somewhere at a party and then I get home and I realize I've been walking around with no shoes on. And I have to go back and it's late and I'm afraid someone stole my shoes or it's a very strange dream. But anyways, that's for me, that's for you, and your brother had an interesting one. What about you guys? What's the strangest dream you've ever had? Have a chat about that, and please do come back with us tomorrow because it'll be the final part 3 of the Nutcracker story. We'll find out how it all wraps up. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
The Nutcracker and the Mouse King. The next day, Drosselmeyer is fixing the Nutcracker as Mary tells him about her dream. While the rest of the family thinks she is losing her mind, Drosselmeyer believes her. He tells her a story about another bad mouse. Long ago, a king and queen had many mice in their palace. They set mouse traps to get rid of them. However, so many mice were killed that the Mouse Queen put a spell on Princess Pirlipat, their beautiful daughter. The spell made Pirlipat terribly ugly. The only cure was a Crackatuck nut, which had to be cracked by a young boy who had never shaved. Besides, he would have to walk backward for 7 steps without stumbling. The king promised that Pirlipat would marry the boy who saved her. The only boy who could do this was the nephew of the royal court inventor, whose name happened to be Drosselmeyer. He did what the cure requested, and it worked. Pirlipat was beautiful again. Unfortunately, Drosselmeyer's nephew caught the spell and became ugly. Princess Pirlipat refused to marry him, and the boy was kicked out of the palace.
Vocabulary Review. Palace. The king and queen live in a large palace. Shave. Bill shaves his face every morning before he goes to work. Backward. The car was rolling backward down the hill. Request. Harry just requested some time off from his boss. Refuse. Grace refused to go out on a date with Bobby because she has a boyfriend.